Hello and welcome back to Crew 42's coverage of the CCR Open, a Disc Golf Pro Tour Q Series here in Holt, Michigan. We are at Burchfield Park playing Devil's Den here for round one and our FPO feature card. I am joined today by the amazing Lisa Fajkus. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, if you haven't already, please consider liking, subscribing, hitting that notification bell. You get all the up-to-date information when we have new content getting released on the channel. You should do that. It supports us. And we got a pretty stacked card here. Who do you got here?
Vanessa Van Dyken, Team Discraft, Ohn Scoggins, Team Innova, Kristin Tattar, Latitude 64, and Alexis Kerman, again, Team Discraft.
Oh, yeah, and we are going to have lots of birdie opportunities out of this course. Hole 1, 293 feet. What do you need to do to get the birdie?
This one's a pretty stock hyzer. You want to keep it high in the air. Make sure you're not grounding too low. It's a nice uphill shot. Just have a nice fade at the end, something straight.
Get a couple introductions here from our amazing TD West.
Card. Leading us off first, we have Vanessa Van Dyken.
Vanessa Van Dyken up here first. She's been in Michigan quite a bit last couple years. This is a tournament she participates in pretty regularly.
Beautiful pull from Vanessa, nice and high, giving her that time she needs to finish with the hyzer.
Ohn Scoggins.
That's exactly what you want to do right there.
Yeah, the basket sits on a little bit of an anthill. How much of that comes in play on the green?
It's definitely something that crosses the players' minds. We want to get pretty close to the bottom of that little hill so the putt isn't too airy.
Mm-hmm. Because probably base of that hill is less than 10 feet?
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
Bullseye.
Mm-hmm.
Kristin Tattar, probably the favorite at this event. Highest rated woman ever. Currently sitting at 998, 997, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
Gets a nice drive off there. Is inside the bullseye.
Well done. Alexis Kerman, and she is out of Missouri.
That's right. And you said it best, 4 stock hyzers here, and our card looks very comfortable to start the round as they are right now, all within bullseye range.
Those are great looking drives, exactly what you want to do. Keep it nice and close to the basket. It's a bit of a nervy putt, obviously, starting on hole 1, and Alexis shows us how it's done.
Mm-hmm. Would you rather start the round off with a kind of a tester putt to get yourself going, or would you rather have a tap in?
For me personally, I like having a bullseye edge putt, especially on this kind of a green, where you're giving yourself a little bit of a easy putt to start your round.
Sure. 3 birdies, I imagine it's going to be 4. Starting off with a star frame, pretty hot here at this course, and just the way all these players want to start their round as well.
Definitely want to start with a birdie on hole 1.
Yeah, it feels like it's very gettable. Hole 2 now, 385 feet. This one's a little trickier. What do you need to do?
Yeah, there's some OB on the right-hand side where that road is. Be careful. There's also OB far left, so you want to kind of turn something over and find this open gap here. It's a bit hairy left and right, so it's very important to find this short grass, and then from there it's probably a short pitch up to the green. It's a really tough birdie to get, but it is there if you can really make your disc turn over and come all the way back. But it's a very big ask, being 385.
A little downhill, correct?
Just slightly at the most.
Still all 3 of 85 to get there.
Definitely. And the landing zone isn't far. It's only about maybe 280, give or take, so it is easy to go a bit far.
Ohn, I really like this play from her. She's not even going to try to get to the basket. Instead, we're just going to play into position. This looks a little right, though.
Only slightly. She should be pretty good from there.
Yeah, if you're a little short, there's still short grass there. Well, I said that twice. But if you go too far, those woods can get a little gnarly.
Absolutely. Kristin with a great pull. It's kind of turning over a bit, and she catches that long stuff that you don't want to get into.
We'll see if she is able to scramble from there. Alexis up next. Probably a backhand.
Yep. Nice flat release. It's turning a bit. It just needs to come back.
Wow, everyone's kind of missing that right side a little bit here.
It's kind of the easy miss on this hole.
Vanessa looking to get up and down. There's a straight shot at the basket as long as she keeps this in a nice level, which she has. This should be a tap-in par. Does this birdie feel almost like an eagle, just with the distance, or is it just a birdie?
It's a really big bonus birdie for sure. It definitely feels like an eagle range kind of thing.
Shout out to all the caddies that joined us today. Big commitment here.
Alexis giving it all.
And she's rewarded with a 15-foot putt left for her par.
Love to see that.
Ohn is in a much better spot than it looked like off the catch cam position.
Ooh.
She's giving it a run.
She can throw those in.
She sure can. She can throw a lot of putts in.
Oh, yeah.
Kristin needing a little bit of a scramble here.
Oh, looks like Kristin actually had a look there, just kind of nosed up, aired out on her. She's going to have a tough one from there, kind of stuck in the bush there.
Yeah, a little Army golf right woods to the left woods.
She's going to just pitch out for her bogey, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. How'd this hole play?
Yeah, it's a really tough get for the two, and it's a nice standard pitch to get your par. But the rough comes into play pretty rough if you get tangled in there. Alexis with a nice par putt, cleaning up. And the clean up for bogey here.
Yeah, hole averaging 4.11. Nope, that's the wrong day. Ignore that. It's averaging 3.66. I said that out loud and went, that's not correct. There's no way.
3.66, still pretty high average on the hole.
Hole 3 now. First par 4 of the round, 480 feet. Even though the distance doesn't seem crazy for a par 4, why is this hole tricky?
I guess there's OB left, right, and long, making it pretty tricky. The initial tree off the tee also makes it a bit tricky. After that, it's a pretty standard pitch to the basket when the basket is in a bowl. This is one of the easier par 4s, so a lot of players are looking to get a 3 here. Vanessa up first. A lot of players like to go wide hyzer to avoid that first tree off the tee. And Vanessa does that nicely, keeping it a little lower, getting good push.
I feel like if you can get 250 off the tee, kind of sets you up for a 230 forehand approach that works really nicely with the fairway here. And so I think Vanessa's in a great spot, although we'll likely see her throw a turnover. She's not as much of a forehand player.
Mm-hmm. Ohn gets herself to the landing zone that we're looking for. She's just behind that tree, but it shouldn't be a problem for her forehand.
Alexis up next, also keeping it a little lower.
Mm-hmm. Good push forward. That should kind of give her in that nice landing zone still.
There is a flex line as well if you were to try to go for a little extra distance. Do you get any benefit off of doing that?
I don't see the risk reward paying off for me personally, but I'm sure some players would see that for themselves. Sure. But I definitely like the pitch play to avoid the tree hit possibility.
Just take the easy 3 if you can get it.
Totally.
Ohn going backhand here. I thought forehand was coming, but she's going to line this up, see what she's got.
Ohn has a great backhand as well as a forehand. She has it all, puts it right there.
In the bowl, which is where you want to be after 2.
Mm-hmm.
Vanessa's turnover, as I predicted, coming up next.
And she plays the hyzer line that needs to come back. Very nice at the top of the bowl.
Yeah. You mentioned that OB coming in quick behind the basket. That's the miss if you go too far.
Yeah, it's definitely a quick one. You got to be careful with the touch. Now, Alexis puts a nice nose angle on this one and puts it right under the basket.
How does this basket sitting in the bowl affect your putting? You're a really good putter. You're coming up to a basket like this where Vanessa's at. This lower, you're used to seeing elevated.
Yeah.
Something like this, how does that impact you?
It's very unique. We don't see this kind of putting on a lot of courses anywhere, so it's something that we don't get practice on actually. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, it's a bit challenging. Aiming a bit lower.
Yeah.
It's just not something that a lot of players are used to. You might see even some players take a knee to get that lower vantage point.
Well, it didn't affect our card today as they all took birdies on that one. So
nicely done.
Hopefully the field could continue to do so. Hole 4 now feels like a must get at 254 feet. What do you need to do to get it?
A lot of players are throwing a stock forehand hyzer here, and I believe that's kind of the standard play, but there are turnovers as well, and it's a nice line for a lot of players to get. We're looking to get a birdie here as well.
Yeah, placed as the second easiest hole on the day. Easiest on the front 9.
Yeah.
And Vanessa's showing why with that little turnover is parked. 43% of the field able to get birdies during round 1. Wow, a little bit of skip action from Ohn. Do you see that a lot on this course?
Not too much. The grass seems to be pretty thick.
Maybe a little turned over here.
Just slightly, but luckily Alexis has plenty of room over there. Yeah, this one is one we're looking to definitely get that birdie. We would feel pretty bad to miss it, but
This feels very standard for
beautiful
our one-time world
angle.
champion. Yeah, she's just easy. Like you said, stock hyzer for her forehand, no problem. Gets it right by the basket. Says, I want to be CTV.
2-time flash in her rings. A nice bid from Alexis and a little jumper.
Ohn with a tap in.
Yep.
Easy work on the hole for a forehand specialist like herself. Alexis actually has quite a capable forehand, actually. She actually has Tim Barham on the card, was also walking with, I believe, Chandler Kramer. So talk about having some good caddies with forehand skills. You get some good insight from them.
No doubt.
Unfortunate kind of miss left for her on that par putt, so she had a tap and a bogey, and a birdie for Vanessa. Has some really good scores coming off of our feature card here right now. We have Vanessa and Ohn both at 3 down, and Kristin Tattar not too far behind at 2.
Since 2015, Great Lakes Disc has been supporting players at all levels, from local leagues and events to professional disc golfers on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Visit GreatLakesDisc.com to learn more.
All right, we're going from a forehand hole now to a backhand hole. Hole 5 at 327 feet. What's the best line you got here?
This one you want to keep high again, kind of at the top of this tree on the right-hand side, and swoop it nice and left for the hyzer. It's a tough get compared to some of the other holes. You have to really push it and swing pretty far left. So let's see if these ladies have it.
Vanessa up first. Little inside, maybe. No, she's trying to tuck it in under the inside gap, and
Oh, wow, what a shot.
that seems pretty good.
She had a great pop on that. I like the low line Vanessa showed us. It's not easy. And Ohn again with that low line.
I think it's a good line to hit if you don't have kind of that high 330 power. I'm certain we'll see like other women in the field, especially on the Pro Tour, like Holland Hanley, Haley King. They'd be probably going for the high gap. But even Kristin Tattar, she should have the power to do that. She's still opting to the low gap. Do you think it's that advantageous?
I'm surprised to see Kristin take that low gap with all the power she has, and unfortunately she gets it a little too low, kind of going early into the grass.
Uh-oh.
Little late release from Alexis. That's like unfortunately stuck in the tree, but she's got a sidearm from there.
Yeah, that tree catches stuff. If you watch the practice round, you saw us have to go looking for a disc and almost not have the pole, but luckily
Yep.
we found it, got your disc out. Kristin Tattar now, trying to keep another birdie to keep pace with Vanessa and Ohn.
Just inside circle 2 there. Good bid from Kristin.
Tough ask. Not too much wind today, is that correct?
Yeah, it was a low wind day, pretty good conditions, a little cloudy, but a nice day overall.
We were a little worried the day before that rain was going to come this morning. By the time the round started, it pushed into the afternoon. We said, yeah, let the MPO deal with it. That's fine. Got ourselves pretty good conditions, as you mentioned. And on
Definitely.
this course, with no wind, or little wind, I should say, how much easier stroke-wise do you think the course is playing?
Quite a bit. I think these ladies have everything they need to score low on this course. So with low wind, it just kind of opens up a lot of opportunities.
Hopefully the conditions can stay optimal for our field as we move over to hole 6. One of the more difficult holes, I think, on the course in general. There's a lot going on here. You got to break it down.
Yeah, this one plays as a tougher par 4. In the middle, there's an OB circle there you want to avoid. Also, OB left-hand side and right-hand side. So, get yourself nice down the fairway, and then another big pull after that to hopefully give yourself a look for birdie. But that's a big ask. Again, the basket is in a nice bowl there, giving yourself a really cool green.
Like a unique feature for CCR, specifically that little bowl.
Yeah, I really like it. So unique. Vanessa places herself in the fairway, which is just fine right there.
Forehand feels a little more dangerous here with that sand bunker on the right side. Do you think that's true, or do you think that play is fine?
It's definitely a little bit of a, dangerous shot right here when you're going down that side. Anything, even backhand, because anything left or right can kind of get you in trouble there. So this is a tough placement here, but you also want to bite off a lot of power. Kristin with the turn on her disc, it's going to land nicely. Just actually hitting that tree a little bit too early.
Yep, these little pine trees on the course gobble discs up pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely, but that's better than finding the OB.
Surprisingly, Alexis is actually going to go for the righty side. There is OB over there, technically, over where the long grass is at. You can do it. It just feels a little more obstructed, I think.
The reason I like that play is because the OB is a little bit harder to reach going that way. So Alexis is playing to the bigger side of the fairway, and she's getting good distance on that second shot.
What a roll, too. Gets away from the tree. She'll have an open shot. This is going to be an obstructed shot from Tattar. See if she can make some magic happen, get into the green. How far back do you think she is from these positions?
I think she only got about 200 off the tee, so she's looking to go almost as big as she can. And she rips one, turns it over nicely to get herself a long look for the bird.
She'll have a bit of a ceiling to contend with, but it's also sitting lower, so trade-off there is probably net zero. Vanessa now also ripping on this one.
Nice flex on that one. She gets all of it.
Vanessa looking very focused for this tournament. I think this is one that she really thinks that she can execute well. She's played out in this course or at this event very well in the past. So,
absolutely, shout out. She's gotten second place last couple years that I've seen her play in this event, which was 2018 as well as 2021. She finished tied for second at both of those, CCR and the U.S. Women's, 6 years ago.
Bit distance left to try to get this one towards the basket. She's got a forehand for Alexis here, and that is nice.
Puts it nice and close
near the bowl. This hole averaging 4.63, so well over par. And I really think that the difficulty because the distance doesn't, in my mind, for this field isn't the problem. It's the tightness with that initial sand bunker. If you don't have 350 easy, you kind of have to play for position rather than just rip it past that bunker.
And a lot of players are doing that, kind of taking the birdie out of question. And I believe this actually used to be a par 5.
Yes, I know. Depending on pad and things, it changes from year to year, which is a good adjustment to make.
It's a good run from Ohn. Again, just not used to putting on into a bowl.
Here's that knee putt you mentioned earlier with a bowl putt, and Alexis capitalizes for a par. Couple tap-ins left here. We're going to be moving on here in just a moment from, as I mentioned, the third most difficult hole on the round one to the most difficult hole in the round one, which is hole 7. So they get no break here. They're going from one difficult hole to the next. Does this feel like a gauntlet at this point in the course, or do you still feel like you're in attack mode?
These are really fun holes, but these are tough gets. This one and the one we just played and this one. You have to get 2 really good drives off on hole 7 to give yourself a look at the opening, and then from there pitch up pretty short to the basket. But there's so many trees to get in the way here in the fairway, and then left OB, right OB, so quite a few obstacles to maneuver, and making it kind of easy to find bogey.
Yeah. How much distance do you think you need off the tee to make the birdie accessible?
Anywhere around that 300 mark, give or take, will put you in that landing zone. It's preferable. And staying in the middle like Vanessa's doing is ideal. She has a great pull there.
Yeah, great position for her. Own's going to try to match it. Own's backhand has come a long way this past year. It's very noticeable on tour. It's been an additional weapon to her game. Her forehand's always been really, really great, but it feels like the backhand, as we saw on hole 3 as well, that approach just adds a whole new element for her to shred with.
Kristin keeps it on one angle and gets it way down there.
Yeah, lots of power. Wind's picking up, it looks like, a little bit on that flag in the background there.
It does pick up a little bit at this time in the round.
Hopefully to your advantage on a tailwind would be nice here. Do you remember which direction it was going?
It does look like a tailwind from the flags.
Yeah. It's also like things aren't really flipping too. That's a pretty key sign if you see a disc kind of turn up and over a little bit. Alexis still a bit ways back.
That's the tree you want to avoid. So she's got some work to do to find par.
Not OB. That could have kicked. Very fortunate break there.
Vanessa looking to rip one down the middle. Very nice.
Trying to play a little sneaky shot and gets it done.
What a great finish there.
Still circle 2 from there, but at least you'll have a look at the basket.
Ohn looks like she has a similar look. She's going to turn something over and
Clipped a little bit there.
clips it, but keeps going pretty nicely.
Should have an approach from there.
Just a little obstructed, but she's got something.
Yeah, this hole averaged 4.66, so just barely more difficult. A couple more bogeys probably than the last one.
One of the harder holes for sure. And yeah, a bit of a gauntlet area on the course, like you were saying. These are kind of the longer holes that you want to throw as hard as you can and get in your landing zones.
Because you have par 4s on 6, 7, and 9, and you have 8, which is not a it's short, but it's not easy. So definitely feels like this is kind of the meat and bones of the course when it comes to scoring. And Alexis doing a nice job from her position getting in circle there.
Yeah, what a shot. Great sidearm to get her a look.
And we see more of CCR kind of unique course layout. We've seen 2 bowls, 2 anthills, and Ohn trying to cut the corner there hits one of those last guardian trees. She's going to have a long look from that position. I think Kristin feels like this year that she's been running a few shots with that forehand from distance, but I'm imagining the anthill probably prevented her from thinking that was a good idea here. Even for Vanessa, it doesn't look like a very committed run, more like a just pretty standard layup. Like that anthill, if you miss, can get away from you.
Ohn does not lay up on the other hand.
No, she does. I don't think she's ever done that on purpose.
Front cage hit, almost.
Oh no, she has done it. I've seen her do it once on purpose, and everyone thought like maybe she was hurt. She's like, no, just didn't need it. Alexis, yeah, I mentioned just a little short on her putt there, but that elevated basket, that's what it's there for with the anthill. Got 1 par from Kristin now, which for this hole is strokes on folks. Taking a look at scores right now. Anelli, I think that's how you say your name, is that correct? It's the only birdie on the day.
It's Annalie, but I'm not saying that quite correctly either.
I teach math, not English. I'm going to refer to you. People who know me know I'm really bad with names. My apologies. I'm doing the best I can, I promise. Hole 8 now. We get away from the par 4s. We now have this hole. What makes this uniquely difficult, like within the par 4 stretch that we're in?
Man, this one is a thing of its own. Finding a gap here is the name of the game, and also avoiding that OB left and right side. So it's I guess you can call it a little poke and hope hole.
Now, there's a couple gaps. There's the left backhand, which I'm imagining Vanessa's going to go for. You could also go forehand on the right side, too, with like a flex. But do you think the inside backhand is better for the division?
I personally like that line a lot. Vanessa shows us the right way how to do it to get us to get herself a birdie look.
Yeah.
There's so many options on this hole, but if you're going sidearm, it takes a lot of flex and turn. But Vanessa keeps it a little bit more simple on that backhand line.
Yeah, and we're taking a quick replay at this one thanks to our friends at Disc Golf Threads. Look good, feel good at your next event. Check them out at discgolfthreads.com, and you can pick up a Crew 42 shirt out there if you want to support the channel, support them. But a great shot for Vanessa to give her a birdie look on a hole that can be pretty difficult.
Kristin hits that ceiling right there, unfortunately. Gets it a little too high.
That could spell trouble. Not OB where she's at, but she's in the bush on the right side.
Oh, similar look from Ohn. She cuts it inside and finds a nice gap.
I'm going to say that was a little lucky. I don't think that's what she was trying to go for necessarily, but, I mean, great result regardless.
I'm liking that turnover sidearm more and more.
It feels ridiculous when you're on the tee pad a little bit. You're like, that's just not the play. And then you got to watch some people do it. And you're like, I can see it now.
Alexis's sidearm, backhand, is hung out a little wide, but she should be safe there.
Kristin not able to get past the guardian trees there. That's and those trees are sitting around, would you say 50 feet or so?
About that, yep. Oh, no.
Not OB.
Okay, not OB.
Not OB. Actually, when the disc lands, it lands out of bounds and cut back in bounds at the very end there. So she gets the relief for that throw, but she almost had a big error there.
Gotcha. She finds circle 2 just long of the pin. Kristin with a bid just short, almost.
She's been known to make a few of those in a round.
Vanessa's looking at a birdie here.
Can she convert on the putt?
Oh, just top rim.
Sit down. Don't do it to her.
She's got that. Just a little longer than you want to have.
Right. Ohn trying to capitalize on the birdie.
Ohn. Nice birdie.
Taking a look at hole 8 on the stats. I got to go find the hole. There it is, 230 feet. We had 4 birdies on the day. Ohn being one of them. We had Nikki Taylor as well, Alicia Schaefer, and Maria.
Nice get from Alexis there. Saving it.
Here's Vanessa trying to save the par.
Nicely done.
No big deal. Almost halfway through the course now, but we're going to go back to some par 4s. Hole 9 is the next one they're going to have to face. Hole 9 is part of an open. I think the tee shot here is pretty open at least, but we have an OB on the right side. What makes this hole difficult to birdie specifically?
This is a small gap you have to hit on your second shot after you hit this landing zone about right around this area, and it's pretty thick again. The theme out here, if you don't hit it, that rough is pretty rough. You're going to have a lot of little straggler trees when you get close to the green as well. So this is a really good get if you can get up there for a birdie 3.
Critical error is to leave this OB right on hyzer, because then you have to take it way back.
Absolutely. And the way the tee pad lines up, there's some like dangling leaves right there that you have to really avoid. And you have to pull your disc a little wider than you want to. Ohn gets her stable driver to come back nicely.
Gets a green flag. Let's see if Vanessa can get the same. You want to be much more left.
Ideally, you want to be left of that skinny tree right there like Vanessa is.
This looks great.
Finishing. I like that spot where Vanessa finished right there. Anywhere from there to the tree is pretty ideal.
She'll be able to see the gap at least.
Mm-hmm.
Alexis trying to match the drive here. This a little higher, a little wider, but on much more hyzer.
I like the height she gave that in order to give the disc time to fall to the left. And it's nicely in the fairway. Kristin's looking to give this a nice big pump to get herself close to that second shot tunnel. Nice forward moving shot. It's a little... No, it's perfectly in the middle. And she's going to be lined up nicely for that second shot.
Yeah, that extra distance makes a big difference, too, on the approach, not needing maybe a fast a disc to try to get into the gap.
A little bit low. It just kind of doesn't have the energy needed there.
It looked like a great line.
Yeah, she had all the straightness she needed.
But she's going to have to try to save a par from there. Here's Vanessa on the backhand. This has got to be perfect.
Wow, it has great turn and that flight. Giving herself a short look.
Oh, yes, inside the bullseye. We'll take that. Ohn's pinched.
Yeah, but this is a great sidearm if you can hit this gap and hit it hard. If she would have missed that last tree, she would have been parked, but she's still very close. So the sidearm actually fits really good for her position. And Kristin's looking like that straight shot. A little bit tougher in my opinion to shape the disc so straight, but Kristin finds a nice gap just hitting that last tree there.
Yeah, a little bit low ceiling there in that entry gap, correct?
A bit, yes.
Yeah. Alexis on her up shot is going to get it nice and close to the basket. Should be a tap in for par for her there.
Kristin's looking to get a birdie here.
She's due a circle 2 putt at any moment.
Oh, yeah.
How about this moment right here?
You got to like that straddle.
Oh, yeah. She's feeling confident now. Gets another birdie at -2 now. Not necessarily as hot in the shooting that she'd like to have at this point in the round. You see Ohn tap in hers for -5. What is an ideal score through the front 9, do you think, if you're like really trying to set the pace?
Oh, I think we want to be closer to 6, maybe 5 or 6 down. I have to go back and look at the exact numbers there, but you want to avoid those bogeys. Those are really going to hurt you out here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, 5 or 6 down on the front 9 is there for the ladies.
All right, let's take a look now real quick at our front 9 of round 1. Vanessa is at -5. Ohn's at -5 with a bogey. Kristin Tattar at -2 and Alexis at +1. But we have a whole back 9 to still attack here, and these ladies will have some more opportunities for some birdies. Again, if you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Lisa, you are absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Zach, for being out here and filming the ladies. We love that.
If you haven't already, check out our Patreon. It's a great way to support the channel. Without your support, we could not continue to do what we're doing. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys in the back 9 in just a minute.